Arts and Crafts Armchair, How to Make a Wooden Chair. DIY woodworking projects, plans and ideas. Craftsmen have been making chairs since before the time of the Egyptians, and they have been created in many different styles and materials. This classic armchair is inspired by arts and crafts designs, and it makes a great intermediate woodworking project. The parts are relatively simple: 4 legs, stretchers, a back with curved slats, curved arms, and upholstered cushions for the seat and the back. The angle of the back can be adjusted for various sitting positions. The side stretchers slope downward slightly from front to back, putting the seat at a comfortable angle. Although that complicates construction somewhat, it's well worth the effort. Through tenons at the top of the legs pop right through the arms, creating a great visual detail. The arm also slopes downward from front to back, giving the chair graceful lines. Laying out and cutting the various curved parts is one of the challenges of this project, but it's easier than you'd imagine. All it takes is basic shop tools and a jig for the router table. The species of wood is another key part of the design. Although you could make this from cherry, walnut, or another hardwood, white oak is a traditional choice for this style chair, and that's what we selected. To add even more dimension to the wood, we fumed the chair with ammonia, enhancing its figure and color. Tool list. Power tools. Bandsaw. Cordless drill. Drill press. Jointer. Mortising machine. Router table. Sander. Table saw. Thickness planer. Hand tools. Bench chisels. Bench planes. Combination square. Flexible steel ruler. Marking gauge. Spokeshave. Tip: use a handplane to remove mill marks from all of the parts after you finish milling. Plane the pieces as needed before cutting the joinery. Making the legs. Once the stock for the legs has been finished to 2 3/8 inches square and the legs cut to their finished lengths, the tops of the back legs must be cut at an angle so they fit the downward sweep of the arm. Set an adjustable bevel to 10 degrees photo 1, mark the tops of both back legs photo 2, and make the cuts on a chop saw photo 3. Lay out the mortises. To lay out all the mortises for the rails and stretchers, set a combination square to the distance between the bottom of the front leg and the bottom of the mortise for the side rail and mark the leg at that location. Then continue the square line across the face of the leg photo 4. Use a longer combination square to mark the top of the mortise, indexing both layout marks from the bottom of the leg photo 5. Tip: measure the locations for the mortises from a common point, in this case the bottom of the legs. This will ensure that the legs will be uniform and sit evenly on the floor after the chair is assembled. Cut the mortises. When the length of the mortise has been marked on the leg, use a marking gauge to mark the width photo 6. Then cut the mortise with a mortising machine, making sure you set the depth adjustment and fence correctly photo 7. Continue laying out and cutting the mortises on all 4 legs. All of the mortises are 1/2 inch wide and 7/8 of an inch deep. After cleaning up the inside faces of the mortises with a sharp chisel photo 8, mark the location of the hole for the back rest pivot on the inside face of each back leg and bore the holes on a drill press photo 9. Tenon the legs. The last step is to cut the tenons on the tops of the legs. Start by setting a marking gauge about 3/16 of an inch more than the thickness of the arm and scribing all the way around the top of each leg photo 10. Using a second marking gauge set at 3/8 of an inch, scribe the ends of all the tops to define the cheek cuts photo 11, and then use a dado blade on the table saw to remove the waste. Remember, the miter gauge will be set at 90 degrees for the front legs, but because the back legs are cut at an angle, the miter gauge will have to be set to a matching angle of 10 degrees. Cut one side of the leg, flip the leg over, and readjust the miter gauge to 10 degrees in the opposite direction and make the second pass photo 12. Because of the angled top, the remaining waste on the front and back faces of the leg will have to be removed with a bandsaw or by hand. Clean up the cuts to the scribed lines with a chisel. For more info about this armchair and thousands other woodworking plans and projects, read the full article. Visit online-ebook-download.com/blog.